Welcome to Nkosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within. Welcome to Nkosi Talk Shows, everyone. Find your own voice and lead from within. My name is Nomsa Clara. I am the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Nkosi Talk Shows. So today, basically, we are talking about identity. It's all about identity crisis. Are you somebody who is feeling lost with your identity? And what can you do if you are feeling lost when it comes to your identity? Sometimes the reason why we feel lost with regards to our identity is basically everything is back to our childhood. Or sometimes we might have had an amazing childhood, but then it comes a big change in our lives, and that big change can affect our identity. That change could be maybe you left school and you find work straight away, you have this amazing job, or if that job being stripped away from you, you lose that job because things do change, or you get married and then you get hit by divorce, and that can basically result to you having identity crisis. But what can you do when you actually are faced with those kind of problems? Basically, I say myself, you have to search within. If you are having problems with who you are and who you want to become, just search within, because when you are hit with crisis, you will start questioning everything, your existence, everything about your life. Basically, as a human being, you will start questioning, like, let's say you enter a relationship and things always end up with the same story. Or let's say with work, if things just end up with the same story as well, and you are not really happy with what you do at work, or in relationship wise, you are not happy in relationships, things are not working how they should be, that can result you questioning your existence and questioning yourself, asking yourself so many questions, questioning your beliefs, questioning your values, questioning the things that, why do you believe the things that you believe? Why do you like the things that you like? And why do you believe the things that you believe? And if you come to basically into that stage where you find yourself questioning everything about yourself, you will have to seek help if you're questioning about yourself, because that can lead to stress, it can lead to depression, it can lead to suicidal. There's some people that have taken their lives simple because they don't understand who they are. They're questioning. If you have been rejected by so many, like if you have been rejected by people, rejected in relationships, you go through divorce, so many big changes that basically that will be happening in your life, that basically the challenges. So if you are somebody that is going through that and questioning your identity, having suicidal thoughts, I would say basically you would need to, don't take my word for it. I'm not basically a doctor. Basically I'm just a coach. So I would say basically just seek professional help. When you seek professional help, you work along with a professional. You won't judge yourself. You won't blame when you're working around with somebody professional. You won't blame people around you, and you won't blame yourself, because we intend to blame ourselves when things go wrong, when things don't go our way. We intend to blame ourselves instead of fixing the problem. Fixing whatever is going on, we intend to blame our parents. We intend to blame whatever around us. We tend to blame ourselves that if I didn't do this, if I didn't meet this person, things would have been different. But the problem is, we all have to face challenges in life. Our destiny is given to us by God. Just before we were conceived, our destiny is already been written. And if you are somebody who is experiencing identity crisis, and because of your childhood or because of the big changes in your life, you will need to basically understand that your destiny was written before you were conceived. And when your destiny was written, your identity, basically, you're gonna have to search within your identity. You're not going to find your identity from anybody else. When people are having identity crisis, they tend to have so many things that they do, the behaviors, different behaviors, different obsessions. Sometimes it could be relationships, people sleeping around, or it could be maybe obsession with it could be a disorder that can develop through that because of that identity crisis. But if you search within, your identity is inside of you. Is basically, you're not going to find it by going to look for a job, fancy job, or whatever kind of job, or finding a beautiful woman, or just by dating a handsome man. Your identity is within. So you're gonna have to define, you're gonna have to search within yourself and define your identity, define who am I? Who am I as a person? Who am I? Find out who am I. For me, basically, there are some things that I do in life. I meditate, I pray. I basically meditate through scriptures. I pray and I fast to connect my spirit with the Holy Spirit, just to find out who am I, my identity. Basically, trying to find out um, my true authenticity as a person, because we all have our own identity. We all, when you're born, there's that uniqueness about you. When you were a child, your parents, they're watching you walking, they watch you crawl, they watch you doing so many things, like you start going to school, doing school activities. There's this uniqueness about every person, individual, every human being is individual. There's a uniqueness about them. And that's what I believe, by the way, the uniqueness. I believe that everyone is unique, and no one basically has anyone's identity. I believe that we are all unique. So, and you're gonna have to basically, sometimes it could be the age. People have identity crisis because of their age, and because of work sometimes, and But then the good news is if you know that we're all unique, you can still work on your identity and just search within to find out basically what makes you believe the things that you believe. Is it because it was planted? Is it because it's the attachment from your childhood? Or is it something that makes you unique? What is it that you believe? Like if you believe in politics, why do you why do you believe in politics? So why do you like the things that you like? Football, I like football. And why do you like the job? Why do you do the job that you do? So you're gonna have to go deep and really search within. If it's a child attachment, that means you're gonna have to break the chains and break away, because sometimes our identity when we are growing up is created by our parents because they are raising us. But when we move out from home, when you turn 16 or 18, you begin to basically to become your own individual, and you can actually look back and see whether the identity you hold was it implanted, everything was it implanted by your parents, or is it something that you created? Some people simply create their own identity based on their role models, which it doesn't make you unique. Or sometimes people create their identity based on people around them, which is, it does not make you unique. So if you are somebody, hi Dewa, just write love in your language, please. It's good to see you. I have to watch your live one day when you are doing live, or we have to do laughing yoga here. So you have to actually, you have to find out your uniqueness, where your uniqueness comes from. Or sometimes it could be, sometimes people create their own identity based on people around them. Or sometimes, Sia Sintakamo, wow, I love you too. Namaste. Thank you so much. So anyway, anyone who will be watching this video, Dewa does laughing yoga on Fridays. So it basically is just amazing just to laugh, and he does the healing as well. So anyone who is watching, you can just follow him on social media. Um, he, he, they're amazing. He is laughing yoga is amazing. If you join him on Zoom, it will just amazing. If you want to join him, just send him a message and just say, can I join laughing yoga? Please give me a Zoom link. So he will add you whatever you add to his group, and you can follow him and keep laughing. That is Dewa for you. That's how I know him. So some people create their identity based on people around them, but that's not unique. So identity, you have to sit down with, you have to seek within yourself and create that identity based on who you are, who you believe you were created to be. And once you understand, you define your identity, then you can then create your character, you can then create your image, you can then create and become who you are meant to become. But if you don't create, what happens if you don't create your identity? The man that you marry as a woman, if you suffer identity crisis, you get married, your children will be affected. Your man, husband will be affected with your identity crisis. So as a man, if you are a man and you're married and you have identity crisis, your children and your woman, they will suffer the same thing. So that's why it's very important to actually work on your identity, understand basically your image, understand who you are, understand your true authenticity, what makes you unique. Why do you think, what is your existence on earth? So what is your purpose? There's so many lists that you can actually put it down to make sure that um, you are actually you are who you say you are, which is your identity. Sometimes if you don't know your identity, you can become miserable. You wouldn't be very happy because you are searching for something. But what do we search for when we are searching for identity? Where do we search? Do I search inside my pocket for my identity? Inside here? Or do I go to the gym and search for my identity? Where do I go? Here. I have to go here. There is nowhere else where I can find my identity. I have to go in here. My spirit within, connect with my spirit. That's why it's very, very important to meditate. It is very, very important. If you are a Christian, it's very, very important to meditate with the Word of God. It is very, very important to fast. If you believe that, if you are a Christian, or if some you don't have to fast just because you're a Christian, basically to activate that spirit within. That's how you find your identity. You won't find your identity anywhere, or by buying expensive clothes, or by having a good career, or by what else, or by marrying a beautiful woman or marrying a handsome man. You won't find your identity. So you can only find your identity if you search within. So why do I know this? I divorced in 2008. When I divorced, I basically remember I was playing football against Arsenal. The end of the match, I nearly got a red card because I was so frustrated, but I didn't get a red card because the referee had mercy on me. So I was going through divorce. So I remember walking out the pitch and saying to my manager, I'm done. And he was like, what did you say? And I was like, I'm done. That was me retiring. Like, I had had enough. All my life, I basically became a professional musician at the age of 9. I never ever had some time to basically, to actually to connect with myself. It was all about career training. At the age of 10, I used to go to bed at 12. Some people may say it's abuse. They say your parents were abusive. No, they were not. It was me and my granddad. It was something that I wanted. When I go on stage, I love music. So I would get up in the morning. I would just get up in the morning at the normal time. But the training was intense. He used to train me from maybe 9 or 8 and a few hours, but not every single day. So when we finish, I go to bed at 11 or maybe midnight. And it was all about what I wanted to achieve, the achievement. I know, Dewa, your identity is happy. I know that. Happy. I know your identity is always happy. My identity is love. So I know your identity anyways. It's cool. Your identity is cool. So I've never had time to actually have time for myself. When I actually left home, I left home basically when I was 16, when I was 19. It was time for me basically saying to my parents, I want to travel. There was no time for me to actually search within and just trying to understand who I am. I didn't have that time. So I remember walking out and telling my football coach that I need to retire. And I was like, and I felt that it was the right time. Did I make a mistake? No, it was the right time for me to put everything down and just trying to basically to figure out who is Nomsa, because my relationship were ending up same story, same pattern. and everything, it was like a cycle that I needed to break. So I had to break that cycle. The divorce, it did happen, but after that I had to figure out who is Nomsa, basically what represent me, who is Nomsa. Just taking everything that I did or whatever my career, just taking it away and just asking myself, who am I? My identity. And I went through 4 psychologists. I went through this one, first this one. I go and sit there, we'll be talking and go home. She'll give me exercises, give me questions to ask questions. I will do that, I'll do that until I finish with her. We had 10 sessions. I finished with her and I took a break for 1 month or few weeks, and I got to a second psychologist. We just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then I didn't get any results that I want, but it wasn't the psychologist that had something wrong in here. It was me. So then I went to the third one, talk and talk and talk and talk, giving me questions. I'll ask myself questions. And then when I left that woman, and that's when I was like, okay, I had to question my identity, was my spirituality, where I realized that there was something wrong with my spirituality. I was a Christian, but I didn't represent. I know. Thank you so much, Dewa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I actually, I had to question myself, question everything about myself, who I was. So I realized my spirituality. I needed to work on my spirituality to actually define who is Nomsa. Because when I read the Bible as a Christian, God has a God and Lucifer, and Lucifer is Satan. God is God that loves everyone. So if you want to enter Lucifer's kingdom, you have to be evil. You want to enter God's kingdom, you have to be full of love. So I had to define that. But when I wanted to define myself, basically I was a Christian, but I was representing something else. I wasn't representing God. I wasn't representing Lucifer. I wasn't representing anybody. So I had to work on my spirituality to understand who is Nomsa. I worked on my spirituality. I work on my forgiveness and forgiving myself as well for not understanding who I was, for not knowing my own identity, because it can be a messy if you don't know who you are. So some people may say, I've always known who I am, but myself, I'm just gonna put my hands up that I knew who I am, but I've never searched really within myself and just enjoy being Nomsa. So I've never done that. Maybe I became a follower, following other people's characters and you name it. When the way I dress, I look at somebody else, I like their dress on social media, I go buy it. That's how it was. So when I worked on my spirituality and basically trying to define my life, who is Nomsa, I basically had to define myself. There's some places that I had to leave behind, places that didn't serve me anymore. There are some friends that I had to leave behind. Family members I had to love from the distance. The reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes we make choices in life. This is what we want to do. And if people disagree with who you want to become, so you cannot, instead of arguing with them, trying to convince them this is who I am, you're gonna have to leave them behind. Love them, leave them behind. When they see you become what you say you're gonna become, then they'll follow you because they know that you know yourself and they want to know how did you do it so they can do it as well. So I had to leave my family behind there to follow me after. So follow me after, because at that moment they were able to connect with me. They were able to understand who I am as a person, not that fake Nomsa that I believed that I was. So they had to connect with me in a true authentic way. So that's what happened. So when I understood exactly who Nomsa was, then I took a psychology degree, because I knew that there was something that represent me that I needed to continue seeking. When I continued seeking, that's when I realized that actually Nomsa, she is love. That's why I call myself a love harmonist. So that's why I actually created my matchmaking introduction agency, because I realized that all I do is I love people, and that's what represent me. So why not? If you love people, I love to connect with people, I love to get to know people, why not create something and make a living out of it? So that's how I created my own identity. And what happens if you don't create your own identity? Mental health problems. You can actually have mental health problems if you actually don't seek to actually find out who you are as a person. It could cause concentration as well. It could cause low motivation, because you don't know who you are. And it could cause problems with sleep, irritation, hopelessness in life. Like you are hopeless. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you're supposed to do. So for me, I had to say, God, who am I? Who is Nomsa? I had to say my date of birth out loud. I had to pray. I had to pray and pray. And I had to fast, because I had to fast and I had to read the Bible. God says, if you want to follow my kingdom, these are my principles. His principles are his commandments. Basically, I had to read his commandment, and I had to look at myself. Do I represent God? When I say I'm a Christian, do I represent God? So I had to get rid of some character that did not represent God as a person, creating my own identity. So I had to get rid of that. When I got rid of that character that didn't represent God, and I had to be me. When I'm saying I had to be me, when I meet somebody, I was no longer following their character. If somebody says, Nomsa, we're going to the movies today, would you like to come? If I didn't feel like it, if I didn't want to go, I will no longer please my friends just to be there for them. I will say, no, I'm busy. I will be honest with them, as honest as possible, not trying to fit in, not trying to be something that I'm not. Even when it comes to everything I do with my work, I had to be honest with myself. The things that I do I love what I do? Or do I just do it for the sake of money? So I had to be honest with myself. I had to be honest with my family. And I had to understand that whatever the beliefs that I believe, the values, my values and my beliefs, they don't have to be same values with the people around me. I still have to let my friends have their own beliefs. Sometimes when you have friends, they want you to turn like them. They want you to believe the things that they believe. They want you to like the things that they like, instead of supporting. But there are two different things. When you support somebody, agrees with them. So what I have learned is, no, I don't have to like the things that my friends likes, but I need to listen to them because they're my friends. When they talk about their beliefs, I have to listen, I have to support, and I have to ask them, is there anything I can help to make them achieve the goals that they want to achieve based on their beliefs? I then had to, after that, I then have to actually understand their values. Why do they believe in those values? Their values. What does the values, when someone says this, I value this, when someone believes the things that they believe? That is so true, Dewa. That is so true. Love must be selfless. That is spiritual love. That is so true. That is so true. So I had to let my friend be unique, not me trying maybe to change my friends to be something that to do the things that I believe in. So I had to understand that as an individual, there is unique about every person. So I had to understand that my friends are okay believing the things that they believe in. So I have to love them and I have to support them. And what else did I have to do? I had to learn to actually to be me, to actually accept who Nomsa is instead of pretending to be something that I'm not. And I had to, even how I buy my clothes. Yeah, my clothes, they have to be unique. How I dress, it has to be unique. Like if I see someone wearing something, I have to admire it, but I can't go and buy it because that's not me. And I had to realize that when I walk into the shop, there's only one dress, one design that is designed for me. If I like that, what I see, what I buy, if I like it, if I look at it, look at my body, and if it fits with my body and I love it, I buy it because I know I'm gonna wear these clothes. Not my friend is gonna be wearing it. Or if I see my friends, or sometimes I'll just go to the shop. Being unique, it means you have to love unconditional. So if I go to the shop, if I buy something, if it doesn't fit, instead of me taking it to the shop, I just ask my friends if they want to try it. If they feel like they like it, I give it to them, because when you discover your identity, you love unconditional. You don't have time to actually, you celebrate, you love unconditional, you celebrate people around you. The jealousy, you work on your jealousy. This is true, I had to work on jealousy. I had to work myself within jealousy, so I don't get jealous on people. When I say I had to work within, I had to read scriptures and I had to fast for me to get rid of that, whatever it is inside of me. Like, let's say if I was single and my friend, if they're married, instead of me celebrating my friends, I will start questioning why am I single? That is jealousy. You shouldn't feel that way. If you are single and your friends are married, you should celebrate them, celebrate with them. And that's then when God is going to give you that energy of blessings. But if you are questioning yourself that why am I not married? Remember, we are all unique. We are all individual. We all being created differently. Our blessings are different. So that is something that I had to work on, that I celebrate my friends. I basically just loving unconditionally. It means when a friend comes to me and they tell me about the good news, I have to go crazy. In my body, within, inside of me, I have to celebrate for real, so that their blessings basically, so that the love that I give to my friend is unique, specific for them or my family members. So I had to work on that. It's not easy. There's something that I had to fast for 40 days. So it's not that easy. So I had to celebrate that. I had to work on that jealousy. What else did I have to work on? Creating my own uniqueness, identity, work on telling porcupines. Sometimes, I'm not saying everybody lies or anything. Sometimes we tell porcupines. Like sometimes you wake up late, you're going to work, you wake up late, and when you wake up late, you have shower, you have eat, and then you get to work, you're late. Your manager asks, why are you late? Or maybe the owner of the company asks, why are you late? Instead of telling the truth, just say I woke up late. You create stories like traffic. There was traffic at work. there was traffic on the way, instead of being honest. So those were the challenges that I had to work on them, telling the truth, work on telling the truth and not telling porcupines. So that's what I had to work on. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do as well. But if you want to create your own identity, you're gonna have to. Being honest is one of those things that you're gonna have to work on. So I had to work on that. That was part of Paul McKenna's programs, that you have to do the stages, forgiveness, and then after you finish forgiveness, you work on your self-love. I did work on that, self-love, and then after self-love, forgiveness, and after forgiveness, now you want to break through those chains that are holding you. Now you have to work on being unique. That means no porcupines. So you have to work on that. Some people may say, oh no, me, I'm perfect in that. But some people do. It's like when you go on date, if you are running late, instead of telling the truth, you start saying, or if you are running late, you just see, some people basically create lies. You say, or instead of saying, oh, sorry, I'm late, or maybe stressing, or you're nervous, or you were not sure whether you should go on this date and stuff, you're deciding, and then until you look at the clock when the time is gone, instead of being honest and create porcupines. So those are the things that I had to work on. I had to work on not telling porcupines and being authentic. So those are the things that you have to work on, and basically, and also define yourself, define your identity, and why. Basically, when you define your identity and you work on yourself, who you are as a person, and then after that, you'll be able to actually establish your personal goals. And once you establish your personal goals, then you work on your values. So that was very, very important to me when I basically was working on my identity crisis. And I was very, very lucky because I was able to admit that when I was going through divorce, I was able to admit that I just feel confused, because I was really, really confused. And I prayed to God and said, God, would you please connect me with a good person, a man that will look after me, a man that will accept me for who I am. And I prayed and prayed and prayed, and the vision, what kind of a marriage I wanted, I had prayed about it, but things didn't go that way. But then I went back to God when my marriage was not going well. Then I said, God, why do you give me the life that you give me and take it away from me? So why do you do that? We have to question these things. So you have to pray. It means I prayed and I questioned God. Why would you, when I was going through crisis, why would you give me the life, the beautiful life that I asked for, and you take that away from me? And the answer was, Nomsa, I did not take anything away from you, but you asked me for anything, I gave you. You asked me for everything. Like you say, anything you ask in my name, it will be given to you. So it was like you asked for me to give you the life that you wanted. I gave you that life. So through questioning myself and questioning within, seeking within, I realized actually that I was spending 2 hours getting ready. This is not a joke. When I want to get ready, go out, I spend 2 hours getting ready, make sure my hair is done, making sure I did everything, but I didn't do any personal development. So that is when God said to me, you asked me for anything, I gave you. You asked me for a beautiful life, I gave you. So that's when I realized actually I basically worked on my wardrobe, forgetting the soul inside of me. I forgotten who Noms to look after Nomsa within, to look after my soul. So my soul represent my identity. So I didn't look after my soul. So when that happened, that's when I realized actually God gave me the things that I asked him for. He gave me everything. But then because I didn't know, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the skills to actually create, to actually understand my own identity and create that uniqueness within me. So that's why my life was falling apart. My life was like a cycle of cry, cry, cry. So once you figure out, you work on your goals and values, and you connect within yourself and create your own identity. I did that through prayer. There was a time where I basically, my life was like, I was like, I don't like this life that I've been living, the feelings that I've been feeling. I didn't want anything about my old life, I didn't want anything to do with it. I just wanted everything to change. So that's when everything changed, because I was able to recognize that as a human being, I am unique. And for me to be able to be fulfilled, I need to identify who is Nomsa. I need to identify and define my identity and my uniqueness so I can stand out as a person. So I had to understand that I am who I am meant to be. I will become who I'm meant to be when I understand who I am, when I understand my identity. So I had to work on my identity, and I had to understand that if I don't understand my identity, and everyone around me will be affected if I don't deal with it, whatever my identity crisis. So I had to deal with my identity crisis. So how did I do that? This is me. No, you, this is me. I had to work on my spirituality. I had to work on my I had to work on my sexuality. This is me telling the truth. So I had to work on my self-image. We're telling the truth. I had to work on my telling porcupines. If I'm late for work, instead of telling porcupines if I wake up late, I have to tell the truth. If my manager says, Nomsa, why are you late? I have to say, I woke up late, instead of saying there was a traffic. So I had to work on those little porcupines that we tell. If I go out, basically, or if I want to go out with friends or family members, if I feel like I want some time alone, I had to be honest with my friends and say, I'm going to have some time alone, instead of just being there for making them work. I had to work on trust. I had to work on trust, meaning I see the world as a beautiful place. Anything that is in this world is beautiful. I had to work on trusting people, celebrating people. I had to work on celebrating people. What else did I have to work with? I had to work on creating my character as well. As a Christian, as Nomsa, as a Christian, what does Nomsa represent? Nomsa represent love. And I had to work on my Christianity as well, because spiritually, as a Christian, it means if I say I'm a Christian, there are clothes that I can't wear, the non-Christians can wear. There's language that I can't speak, but some people can speak it. There is some things that people do that I can't do. What else? So I had to work on my character basically for me to find that uniqueness, because if you don't work on your character, basically you're going to be miserable. And so I had to work on that. What else did I have to do? What else did I have to do? There's so many things that I had to, and I had friends that I love as well, but we didn't, basically our characters were different. So for me to go to the next level of my life, I had to leave those friends behind. And the other thing that I had to do is basically just work on my career by looking back, going back into my childhood, because I had a beautiful childhood, but when you're going through identity crisis, there are times where you start questioning everything. So I was questioning my life. So when I went back to my childhood, that's when I had to find out who was Nomsa. Who does Nomsa represent? I had to look at my family, the foundation of my family, my parents the most, my mom and my dad, my grandparents, my father's father, my father's mother, my mother's mother, my mother's father, and my ancestors and their parents. Who do they represent? The foundation. So I had to go back and look at the foundation. Who my identity, because my identity represent my bloodline. So I had to go back, not rewriting my family history, but I had to go back and rewrite my own identity. So when I went back, that's when I had to rewrite my identity based on my parents, what I saw with my parents, who I was, who am I, basically, who is Nomsa, not what my father liked, not what my mother was. But when I did that anyway, I realized actually everything I do is like my mom and my dad. I didn't realize it at first, but the more I do things, the more I dig deep. I realized that actually when I was building my foundation, because you have to build the foundation. When you are born, there's a seed that is created, and that seed needs to for it to grow. You need to water it. You need to plant good things in that seed, in that foundation. So I had to plant the good seeds in my foundation. Each and every single day, I have to, the energy that you plant in that seed, it will define who you are as a person and your identity. I had to plant the seed. Even today, I'm still working on my identity. The plant everywhere I go, I have to leave somebody. Somebody has to remember me for love, not for anything else. And that's how I plant the seed. Um, that's how I plant the seed of. That's how I grow and understanding my identity, and everything is within. Knowing that, understanding that everything is within me. Because if you want to know who you are meant to be, your career is not going to give you your identity. Nothing is going to be, is going to give you your identity. Basically, you have to search within and find that seed, and create basically your foundation. Build the foundation of your life based on what you think, you believe that is in your foundation, based on God's foundation, and not your friends or your family or your parents. So I had to create my identity based on what I believe I should be, not what my mother believed I should be, not what my father believed I should be, or what whoever believes that I should be. By looking back and searching through my bloodline, I had to search my father's character, search my mother's character, search my bloodline, search my grandparents, who were they, and pray about it as well, and just try to pray if there was anything that I couldn't understand that did not represent God in my family. I just pray about it and ask God for forgiveness. When you do that, you're bringing a good energy to your life. You bring a good energy to your blood as well, to your bloodline. So that's what I had to do. And in order for me to build that foundation for my future, because the future is within me and it cannot be changed regardless of obstacles. You can go through any obstacles in life. You can go through anything, any challenges, but your future, your identity cannot be changed because of problems. So I used to believe that people change this, but it doesn't matter. When you grow, your identity doesn't change. It grows with you because it's like I'm into personal development. There are some people who are not into personal development, but my identity, it doesn't change. I don't change basically to be better than the people around me. I'm still learning from those who are not into personal development, and they are learning from me as well. So my friends are benefiting something out of my growing, my identity, and I'm learning out of them as well. Their better habits. That if I become that, that means I'm gonna be this. They are good habit. They still have those who are not into personal development. They are still have good habit, but they just need to create their identity because we learn from each other. So that's how I created my identity, growing the foundation in my life. The foundation in my life basically is built by me, is built by the people around me. The seeds, you have to make sure you are surrounded by people who want you to grow, because those people are going to contribute something into that foundation of your life. So if you are surrounded by people who you don't believe that they are good for your environment, then it's not good for you. It's going to affect your identity. I'm not saying go around and labeling people and saying this one is not good for me, this one is not good for me. For me as a Christian, and how I'm able to do that, God is able to guide me through it. God is able to guide me through the challenges that I face in life, through the friendship, through my family, through everyone around me. So I'm not just going around and say, this one, I do not want to hang out with you. I do not want to hang out with you. I don't do those kind of things. So I just pray about it. I pray and I fast and I meditate in the Word of God, and I read the scriptures. If there is something that I do not understand, I ask God. The power of a repetition. I repeat every time. Repeat. If there's something that I don't understand, God, reveal what this information that I need. I will go over and over and over, praying about it until God reveals to me who is supposed to be in my life, who is not supposed to be in my life. Because not everyone is there to save you. Some people are there to teach you a lesson. Some people are there to cause destruction. Some people are there, they enter your life to help you grow. Some people, they enter your life to destroy. So not everyone. You see, there was Judas Iscariot. So some people enter your life basically to change everything. So you have to, that's why it's very, very important to use your beliefs, your ritual, whatever that ritual might be. It's good to have beliefs. For me, my beliefs that I use is the Bible, the scriptures, and for God to reveal to me basically my environment, just to pray about my friends, my environment, to pray about people around me, so that those people have good energy and I have good energy, so I can help my identity grow. I can help them grow. It doesn't just work one-sided. You have to help people grow as well. If they're helping you to grow, you have to learn to celebrate your friends. You have to learn the power of the knowledge, the skills of understanding the uniqueness of you as an individual. So once you understand the uniqueness as you as an individual, you can celebrate yourself, you can celebrate your friends. It doesn't matter what Nomsa thinks, even if I enter your life and tell you this is not good, but if you understand your true authenticity, your identity, you can't go wrong. I cannot define your life. I cannot define who you are as a person. So that was the story. That was, you can create your own story, create your own identity. And if you are having identity crisis, just divorce the blame. We all have to go through stages in life. Divorce the blame, blaming yourself or blaming everybody else. Just dealing with the situation is very, very difficult, but you have to face it and deal with it. And the results are amazing. Once you say, okay, this is not going well, my identity is not going well, so what do I need to do? Just work on yourself. Find somebody to work on yourself, and the results will be amazing. Uh, you define yourself, and people don't have to ask. Even your pathway that you pave, it's not gonna be joy or anything. There will be joy, there will be tears, there will be, but you embrace it. You basically embrace everything that comes in that path, because you know your identity and you know who you are as a person. So, of course, the talk shows, we are here Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. UK time. So if you like to hang out with Nomsa, please do come and hang out with me. We can just have a conversation. And if you want to get in touch with Ngozi Talk Show's coaches, go to our page, get in touch with them, and or you can go to the website www.hseia.com and just get in touch with me. Let me know which coach you would like to connect with. If you are looking for love as well, why not connect with Hope Springs Eternal Introduction Agency and find that special person? Follow us on YouTube, please, and subscribe to our channel. God bless you. Live with grace.